Hello, my name is Haley Webb. I'm an actress. I live in Los Angeles. I am married. I am very passionate about people and art and dance and trying to make the world a better place to live. And jump into this thing. Number one, yes or no, do you have a negative voice? No, so party's over. Um, yes, I definitely do have a negative voice. Question number two, in what area of your life does your negative voice speak up the most? Kind of all areas. I would say it definitely speaks up in my friendships. It definitely speaks up in social interactions. It speaks up when I try something new. It speaks up when in my marriage sometimes. Definitely my career. It happens when I'm happy or I'm with somebody that I respect and admire. I really like someone, my negative voice will kind of pop up. It likes to sort of rain on my parade when I'm having a good time. Question number three. In its truest essence, what is your negative voice saying? I recently think I pinpointed exactly what my negative voice was saying, which was extremely helpful and took a long time for me to realize. And in its purest essence, my negative voice is saying that I'm not worthy. So wherever that came from, I'll figure out with my therapist. But in its purest form, my negative voice will say a bunch of different things, but ultimately underlying all of that is that I am not worthy. Or how do you feel and how do you behave when you listen to and accept your negative voice? Oh my. Well, I feel terrible. But I will also admit that there is a sort of comfort in it. It is a familiar voice, and there is something about that that is comforting, and I will not deny that aspect of it. But also, I feel really negative, really bad, really angry, sad. I don't feel great when I accept this voice. Behaviorally, I would say your sort of classic symptoms of depression. I don't attend social functions, keep my texting down. I will take more naps, get more reactionary. I get really angry with myself. I'll sort of lash out either at myself or sometimes, unfortunately, the people around me who I love the most. It just feels like a different person has sort of taken over. And I will do more unhealthy things like nap more or, I don't know, just sort of beat myself up a lot. Okay, question number five. Have you discovered any tricks to overcome your negative voice? And if so, what? Yes, actually, I have. And it's, again, something that has taken me a very long time. I'm 31 years old, which feels very strange to say out loud, but is true. I started doing yoga regularly, and while I feel like that's sort of a basic prescriptive thing for people to do when they are dealing with a negative voice or depression or anything like that, it has been extremely beneficial to me. Because it's helped to center me and actually listen to what my voice is saying. And that has helped me to deal with it. It didn't work for me to be aggressive with the voice, to try to shut it down, to have sort of like an overconfidence or like an arrogance. If I didn't have confidence, I would sort of try to overcompensate by being arrogant, and that just did not work for me at all. It didn't work for me personally, and it certainly didn't work for me in the world. So what I found was if I approached my voice either like a child or like somebody who needed help, what I visualized was that I was holding its hand. I think a lot of people, it's helpful for a lot of people if they imagine that it's like their best friend saying these things about themselves, and what would you say to your best friend? And that certainly helped. But for me, it really helped to imagine taking care of this thing and listening to it as opposed to trying to just shut it down. It didn't help me to attack my negative voice back. What helped was to actually listen to it and to talk to it positively, to remind myself of certain positive things in my life, to remind myself that the people around me who love me aren't just doing me a favor, that they genuinely do love me. And to point out to myself all of the good things that I have done or I have accomplished, whether that be through friendships or career or what have you. Why did you choose to share your negative voice? I think it is really helpful to hear about other people's negative voices, because I think sometimes when we struggle with our own, it is very lonely, and I think it's good to be reminded that you're not alone, and that a lot of people, most people, probably all people, have a negative voice in one way or the other. I don't think that it's just particular to me. The reasons why I have mine are specific to my life experience, but I don't think my negative voice is something that is unique in that respect. So I wanted to share it to hopefully open up other people to accepting their own. I think it's a universal thing. Okay, there's an alternative question, which I'm just going to answer as well. So I'm going to make this 7. How do you feel when someone chooses to share their own negative voice with you? I feel really good. That sounds like I'm just sort of like taking glee in somebody else's pain, but no, I think it's sort of like listening to a sad song where it actually makes you feel better. I feel very humbled, closer to that person. I feel like I want to help in whatever way I can, and sometimes listening helps a lot. I feel very grateful that someone would trust me enough to share their negative voice with me, because it's really not easy at all. I hope that this makes other people feel good, or at least inspired to check out what their negative voice is, because I think it's really important to pinpoint what that thing is and to attack it. I said attack it, and then earlier I said not to attack it. But to address it and to embrace it and to realize that it doesn't need to be the driving force of what they do. And my God, this is hard.